Kevin Cook and Pamela Marin, thank you very much for speaking to me today. And I would like to know much more about your work on Tommy's Honour, if I may. So, how did it all start? Who'd like to tell me first how it all started?
Well, it really goes back to 1986, my first pilgrimage to Scotland, where Pamela had been before. It was my 30th birthday, a long time ago, and I wanted to play the golf course and didn't know the story of the game
Can
in
I
the
just say,
1860s
it ain't
and
that
70s.
long ago, by the way.
And I knew about old Tom Morris. I think a lot of Americans do. I did not know about his son Tommy, who was really the original touring professional. After that, we both became fascinated in the story, and for years I kept clippings and tried to learn more and more. There wasn't really very much known about those two in those days. Wound up writing a book that got some attention, and after a good deal of time and meeting some key people, Pamela was the lead writer on a fine adaptation of the book, and that's what's going to be coming out to cinemas in the spring.
What did you find interesting or challenging about working with, after all, someone that is a close partner of yours?
Yeah, the husband and wife team. In a way, it worked out well because I don't play golf at all. So my interest in this story was in the dramatic interactions, this fantastic family story that has everything from the young man breaking away from his father and the passing of the generational torch in terms of as an athlete and as a man, and then the son who goes and marries a girl from the wrong side of the tracks with a dark secret in her past. All of this taking place at a time in Victorian, the end sort of, well, the middle of the Victorian era. So all of the social dynamics at play, having to do with economics and social standing, and as well women's place in society. So those were the elements that were crunchy and delicious for me to work on, and as well as Kevin to dig into. But the golf part, that was his area of expertise. So it worked well.
Now, I know it's not technically, officially, let's say, a golf movie, but just as a matter of interest, Kevin, I think that you have obviously played the courses that Tom Morris designed, places like I think St Andrews and Carnoustie. How do you feel playing those courses when you've got to be so intimately aware of who Tom Morris Senior and Junior were?
Well, I think it makes it much more interesting and exciting to think of Tom putting these holes in the ground and leaving his gull's feather in the ground to say, this is where we'll put the hole. To know that he liked to put the putting green.
Really?
Yes, he did. And he liked to put the putting green on a hill to keep the golfer looking toward heaven. I think it's one thing that golfers tend to think of themselves as traditionalists, but so many not only in America, but in the UK and around the world, don't really know why we play 18 holes. That goes back to St Andrews. Why we don't tee off from the surface of the putting green anymore. That goes back to these days.
Why are there 18 holes?
The course was originally more than 20, and Tom and his mentor, Alan Robertson, trimmed it back because it was they wanted to make it a little more difficult. So they cut the course down to 18, and their course became the standard for golf courses all around the world. That's why we play 18 holes when we play golf. There were so many things that were being developed at that time. So from golfing standpoint, I found it fascinating, the process of putting the movie together with Jim Farmer, who's a pro emeritus at the R&A, who gave the players delightfully authentic swings. But I don't think of it as a golf movie. It's a movie in which the setting is golf courses, and what Pamela did so well was to make it a really timeless family story.
And the other talented actors, but completely thrilling because when you sit in the room, you have to hear all the voices of all the characters in your head. And there's no way that that isn't greatly improved by this wonderful acting talent. So it was thrilling. We saw it for the first time together at the Edinburgh Film Festival, and I had seen some editing, but it didn't have the music, and some of the effects weren't in. You got the feeling for it, but it was a big screen, everything that movies can do to move your emotions. So it was completely thrilling.
It was.
Are you tempted to do another movie?
I'm working on a TV series now, which is a different sport. So it's just a project in the development part. And Kevin is working on his ninth book.
I've got another book in the works, but this is a very special moment for us to see this film and to think that there is a chance that many people can see it. It means a great deal to us. We think a lot of our life together as having had to do with Scotland. It's where we were made that pilgrimage in 1986, where we decided.
Was that your first trip together, as it were, to Scotland?
It was.
And
how romantic is that?
It's where we decided to get officially married in the eyes of the and so rather than joy at that point. And that was in Killen.
But we've also
Killen. Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When Kevin was researching his book, we also made good friends who lived in St. Andrews, and we were able to house swap with them so that they came to New York, and we went to St. Andrews with both of our children a couple times, and lots of photographs and more family history. So that by the time we were going to watch the filming in the summer of 2015, that was something like our 6th or 7th trip over. Our daughter came with us. Our then 18-year-old daughter came with us and got to be on a movie set and get a hug and a kiss from Jason and be around the actors. And it's just layer upon layer for us of our personal history. And the first movie we did. So whatever comes after, more books, more movies, this is still the one that introduced us to that world and brought our own personal story, a bit of it, up to the screen. I'm a girl from the wrong side of the tracks. A little bit.
I can't believe it. Nor did I believe that lady was the wrong side of the tracks at all, really. But I get the point. What would be your advice for anyone who's seen the movie? And these are obviously particular locations that are dear to my heart as the film office for the region. What would be your advice to anyone thinking of going to visit the golf courses? How can they kind of see them as Tom Morris would have seen them?
I think naturally everyone knows to go and walk the old course at St. Andrews. The new course is fabulous as well. But Prestwick is a wonderful place to play golf, and you can see a little way the course was put together, and that was the first home of the Open Championship, designed by Tom when he had a sojourn away from St. Andrews, a place where players used to hit the ball over each other's heads on different holes because the holes would crisscross. And no longer part of the Open rotation, so it doesn't get a lot of attention. Prestwick is remarkable. Carnoustie is a fabulous place. Really, there are so many Tom Morris courses. You'll find yourself in
I'm glad
Amsterdam.
to hear you mentioning Carnoustie.
Yes.
Forgive me. I know we're not supposed to talk about golf, but hey. Now, we are almost at the end of our appointed slot. So I'm going to say, Pamela Marin and Kevin Cook, thank you very, very much indeed. It's been an absolute delight. Thank you.